How's it going, guys? Welcome back. My United podcast. Build up for the Villa game tomorrow. The FA Cup third round. So, just going to do a little bit of a talk about where we're going to think we'll be with formations and the lineup. Rangnick's come out and said that he thinks we'll be pretty strong in terms of the team that he'll put out, which I think is good, considering he's got a 5-day break. The next game's on Saturday against Villa, so he's got quite a long break before the next game, so we're able to sort of recuperate, train, all that kind of stuff. So he's got a little bit of a bit of leeway now between putting out a good team tomorrow and still playing a good team on Saturday. Strong team, should I say. So, we'll talk a little bit about that then, about what Rangnick's sort of come out and said. Wanted to just chat a little bit about that. I mean, United have sort of plugged it on the emails as team news. It's obviously not going to be team news, but I think other than the fact that Gerrard's said that he's going to play a strong Villa side, Man United have answered that call by equally saying that they're going to play a strong side. So that should be fairly interesting. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I'm expecting a strong side and a strong performance from United. Really, I mean, we all are, considering that our part it's been recently, and equally how poor generally the feeling has been around the club. So we need a strong performance. I think this is a competition as well that United need to win. We desperately need to win this for a bit of credibility. The FA Cup in the past, I think Fergie was quite publicly known for ridiculing the FA Cup a little bit in his time there. I don't think he won the FA Cup enough in his reign at United, which I think is probably a little bit disappointing. I don't think, did Wayne Rooney ever win an FA Cup? Can't remember if Rooney ever won one with United. Wasn't a competition we've really, thrived in many times. Really late in Fergie's era. So something I think we desperately need to put to bed. I don't think we've won it since Van Gaal, or even come close. So we need to. We know that'd be nice for us to get that back on the resume recently. But the competition's strong, so most teams have had weaker opposition. We've got Villa, which is a little bit of a shame, but look, it is what it is. You've got to play these big teams and big clubs at some stage. Villa, would you class Villa as a big club? I think Gerrard's turned it around for Villa recently, so you could argue that they're a little more dangerous than they probably were 3-4 months ago since Gerrard coming in. So yeah, we'll see. I think equally we've got to be confident that whatever team United put out there should be giving a good performance. Obviously, recent performances have suggested otherwise, especially at Old Trafford. The pressure has almost become a poison as opposed to an antidote to United. Obviously, it was a bit of a fortress, was Old Trafford, and I think recently it's almost become a thorn in our side now, playing there, because of the pressure that comes with it. I don't think these players handle pressure particularly well, and I think Old Trafford's become a place where it's a daunting prospect to make sure that you're satisfying the fans, but somehow mentally and psychologically we've got to get over that hurdle. As fans, I think we've got to be better at Old Trafford. I was there the other day at Wolves and it was dreadful, whereas the fans get behind the team, not just when they do something well, but generally just get behind them in certain lull points of the game. You turn that game around and potentially it picks the team up by 10%, and it's perhaps that 10% that gives them enough to go on and find a few more chances and pick the game up completely. So as fans, we need to be better at that as well. I think we can't just sit here and accept that we haven't got a role to play. I think Old Trafford has got to be one of those places that people fear coming to, and at the minute teams don't. So that needs to be addressed really. Yeah, I'm going to get straight into it anyway. I just wanted to just quickly sort of read out the kind of Rangnick's update on sort of team news and everything else leading into this game. So I'll read it out just now. I was trying to get it up on the website, but for some reason I don't seem to be able to find it. It will be there somewhere, but it's on the app. So I don't know if it's just like an app exclusive or whether it's whatever it is. But so it reads, it's by Adam Marshall as well. Must be one of the club's media men. Manchester United interim manager Ralf Rangnick has provided an update on the squad situation in advance of Monday night's Emirates FA Cup tie against Villa. The third round encounter at Old Trafford provides an opportunity to bounce back from the disappointing 1-0 reverse to Wolves in the Premier League as the Reds begin the road to Wembley against top flight opponents. Yeah, so we bit unfortunate. Some teams have been playing like League One sides. We get a Premier League team, but it is, as I say, it is what it is. Ralf has suggested that he will not make wholesale changes to the lineup as other clubs do at this stage of the competition. Well, other clubs have got the benefit of being able to do that if they get a League One team or a Championship team potentially. But when you're getting we're getting a Premier League outfit and you want to take the competition seriously from the get-go, then you've got to play a strong team. And I think, as I say, considering the break that we've got till the next game, if the next game was Thursday, then there was a European game in between, and then I would say, you'd look to rest your players. But when are you going to have a midweek game, or when are you going to have a short game in the first game of the FA Cup for United? Very rarely. It's going to be very rare that you're going to get that, because 9 times out of 10, European competitions are not till now, so May, and equally, the other competitions as well are kind of done and dusted as well. So yeah, we've got till Saturday now. So Saturday's the next game. Big opportunity to play a strong team, get some rest in before Saturday's game, and take it from there. So Ralf Rangnick said we would definitely not play with 8 or 9 different players. The boss told MUTV's Stuart Gardner, or even 10, as we did against Young Boys in the Champions League. So we did play a very, very weak team. It was a nothing game, wasn't it, if you look at it that way? We still topped the group. An opportunity to play some players that would never see European football potentially ever again in their careers. I mean, Savage's young lad coming on, he might never ever make it at United or any other club at that flight, and see a European game. So that for him could be his first and only game in a European competition. So there's a good opportunity for some of those lads, but obviously he's not going to do that against Villa in the FA Cup. And I think we need to take this competition seriously and get to the final. I really do. I think the FA Cup is something we need to look to win this season, considering we're out of the Carabao Cup very early, and we were quite quickly out of the potentially we're going to be struggling now in the Champions League in the first knockout game. So, and it wasn't a particularly convincing qualification, even despite the fact that I knew we topped the group. I think it was quite an easy group to top, yet we struggled. So FA Cup is an opportunity for us to get a bit of silverware. Equally, top 4 is now potentially not a guarantee now as well. If other clubs carry on with a similar vein of form, Tottenham have found a bit of form, Arsenal found a bit of form, West Ham are still on form. So we've got to take the FA Cup very seriously this season, and Rangnick will know that. He'll know he'll have to win it to give himself some shout of credibility, I think. So he continues to say, we will try and play the best possible team with a strong team. There might be a few changes, but I haven't taken that final decision yet myself. We will definitely try to play this game as if it was a normal Premier League game. So to me, that says 2 things really. One, he's taking the competition very seriously, and secondly, I think he's going to play a very similar team tomorrow that he'll play on Saturday with having Villa again. So if it works, great, and I think he'll go into that second game with a very similar team. And that's, as United, that's what we've got to start getting into, that mentality. stop overthinking teams, overthinking tactics in the sense of if other teams find out what our formation is or find out what our team is days or hours before kick-off, then it's a risk. It's not a risk if you're a talented group of players. Like, you know, people know now, watching this back, if you're football fans and you've watched football for many years, watching some of the most successful teams around, teams pick themselves. So you knew what they were going to play. You play Liverpool's team. If you get a full fit Liverpool squad from, say, last season or the season before, that team picked itself. Instantly picked itself. Van Dijk, Salah was in there, Mane was in there, Firmino, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, Trent Alexander, Robertson, Alisson in there. Joe Gomez was next to Van Dijk. You might say it's Matip or whatever. That might be the only difference. But generally, that team picked itself. So there's no worry that if this works tomorrow, that it should suddenly change it on Saturday. It works tomorrow. It should totally play the same team and formation structure on Saturday. Let Villa try and work that out. If we beat with Villa tomorrow 3-0 with that strong team, and then we're going into that game on Saturday with the same team, but let Villa try and work that out for the next 4 or 5 days. What's the fear? That they're going to work that out, work us out, and come Saturday, they'll have figured out how to play against that team and they won't get beat 3-0. They'll actually give us a game. That's to say we beat them 3-0. Obviously, everything's up in the air with United at the minute in terms of form. But what I'm saying is, when you get to a position where the team starts getting confidence and we start playing well, then the theory is the team should pick itself. So none of this chopping and changing and moving around. The team should fear us. So it should be a case of you work out what you want to do. You work it out. It's your worry as a team, not United's worry as a team. We know what we're doing. We know what team we're going to pick. It's up to you to deal with it. And that was United of old, wasn't it? United of old, those teams picked themselves. And yeah, we want to be in that position again. So he's going to treat it if it was a normal Premier League or Champions League game. So he's going to play Bruno. Is he going to play Greenwood? I'm going to get a formation up or a lineup up in a minute, which I don't know. One or two players might be missing, but we'll see. I'll get it up and we'll have a chat about that. So if you are watching, drop us some suggestions in there, scoreline suggestions, player suggestions, whoever. Just drop comment in there. I'll respond if I can. If there's somebody watching. But yeah, so Rangnick continues to say, the article continues to say, Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire missed the Wolves game with COVID, an injury respectively, which led to Phil Jones coming in for the first senior outing in almost 2 years and performing well at the heart of the defence. He did. And Phil Jones, I don't think he'll start this game, personally. I think Maguire will be back. With Varane, I think he'll play Varane and Maguire. I think in most games, other positions, you have to have a continuity in the back four. And I think if anything, United, any opportunity to get a level of consistency and continuity in our back four, you've got to take it with both hands. So definitely think Maguire and Varane will be playing. Whether I think that's right or wrong is not necessarily up to me. I can have a view on that. I've not been as hard on Maguire personally than most have had. There's obviously weaknesses in his game, and that's obviously pace. I don't think pace has been the one thing that's let us down, though. I think it's been silly errors in dangerous positions, i.e. sort of in our own area. Silly, wasteful retention of the ball in other areas of the pitch where he's putting the pressure on the back four, and any back four would struggle to maintain that. Not great, really. We saw it a little bit against Wolves. Although Jones played well, he played with passion, and sometimes passion can not often lead to a calm head. So I think Maguire's played in a similar sort of way. Passionate, maybe not vocally, or from a... But I think he's still trying to work that out. And I think as United, we sort of... we've been spoiled, really, as fans, with some of the players that we've had, with some of the attitudes we've had. And no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't, I've not been his biggest fan either, to be honest. There's obviously some frailties there, and I do think that he deserves to be dropped, if anything, to sort of give him a little bit of a kick up the rear and hopefully give some other players a chance. But I do think he'll be playing tomorrow with Varane, so we'll have a look at the formation anyway. So the article continues to say, so Rangnick's back in saying Victor is back training since yesterday, which is very good news for us, revealed Rangnick. And I think Victor Lindelof's been pretty solid this season as well. Harry hasn't been able to train as yet, and we have to wait to see how he develops tomorrow or the day after. So there's a bit of a question mark. So I've actually put Harry Maguire in my starting formation. I did the formation before I read this, so could have changed it, but it looks like Jones could be starting. I'm not sure he'll risk Lindelof, but he could start Lindelof. So there's a bit of a question mark there. Varane's definitely starting. Whether it's just who's going to start with him, really. With Harry, there's still a question mark, but with Victor definitely be available for the game on Monday. So it could be Lindelof with Varane. Pogba remains sidelined with Eric Bailly and Hannibal away on African Cup of Nations duties. Luke Shaw and McTominay are available as their one-game suspensions will only kick into the Premier League meeting with Villa 5 days later. So that could be a good opportunity to play those players who are then going to have a good rest for 7 days, and I think it'd be a good idea as well not to leave those players out for too long. So if Shaw doesn't play tomorrow, McTominay doesn't play tomorrow, then they've got a long wait till their next game, which I think is Brentford. So that'll be 2 weeks almost of no football for them too, which I think could be too much. I think Rangnick could be aware of that. I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll play Shaw and play McTominay as well. To be quite honest, I think he would have played them anyway, regardless of their suspensions. But I think with that in mind, I think he will definitely play them with a view of Tellers coming in for Shaw on Saturday, and then Fred or Matic coming in for McTominay as well. So. So some Villa team news updates just to give us an idea on things their side, albeit, whether we should be necessarily concerned about that. Steven Gerrard has confirmed that things are looking positive for the Midlanders ahead of the game. Coutinho has agreed a loan move from Barcelona, which is crazy. But it's still to complete the process, so it seems likely it will be involved tomorrow, which is probably good for us, isn't it? Let's be honest, he's a quality player. He could make his debut in our league encounter next weekend. Yeah, on Saturday, so that will be interesting. Ollie Watkins is due back with the group on Saturday, said Gerrard, so that will be a welcome addition. Tyrone Mings comes back from suspension, he's fit and well and available, so a strong team. Ashley has got an outside chance, he's got a frustrating one where he's still got a little bit of discomfort in his fractured toe, but he's doing everything he can to get back as quick as he can. Well, there's nothing you can do, just rest. We've come from the Brentford game with no major injuries. Courtney House has had a bit of tightness since he settled down. And Trent today, Leon Bailey is progressing well, stepping up his rehab as the days go by. Assuming the last couple of COVID tests go well, we should be in good shape. United's lone defender, Tuanzebe, is ineligible. And striker Wesley has joined International from in Brazil on a 12-month loan. So, all in all, they've got some good players at Villa, and then give it a test. And I think Gerrard's got them probably a little more compact than they once were. So there's some positives there. I think Coutinho not playing is obviously got to be a positive. As much I'm not really worried about Villa too much, but I think you've got to be realistic and be pragmatic and say that they have got some players who can give you a bit of a test. Ollie Watkins can be an handful when he wants to be. They've got, McGinn as well. So we'll see. But yeah, I think United have got a good, strong team. They need to put in some effort. They've had a few days off now. They're going to get a few days after this game, but it's a good chance for them to put a solid effort in and get through this round. So let's have a look at the formation. So I'll just get this up now. Let's get it up. Yeah, so I think, we already know Maguire's not going to be fit, so that's going to be that's going to be probably Lindelof. Bearing in mind that I think he will. He's back. He's fully fit. So I think we're definitely going to see Lindelof in there instead of Maguire. So that's my little error there with that. So we'll change that in a bit. But yeah, so I think we'll definitely see that. We'll change that now, actually. I'm not wrong. I think we'll definitely see Lindelof in there. Oops. Let's change that. What is he, number 2? Yeah, so I think we'll see Varane and Lindelof at the back. I think Dalot will be playing. I can't see Wan-Bissaka starting. I mean, he might surprise me. He might play Wan-Bissaka. I just don't think he's done enough in his time there. I thought against Wolves, there was such an opportunity to exploit that right-hand side, which eventually is where a couple of the chances came from in the first half, and we just didn't exploit it enough. And then in the second half, we got a little bit of joy against... was it the Newcastle game? It was the Newcastle game. Cavani scored. And again, we're getting so much joy on that right-hand side. And I think it was Dalot when he came on, eventually got the ball in the box, and Cavani got 2 chances, took one of them. And Dalot were getting forward a little bit more potency and using that right-hand side a little further. Whereas Wan-Bissaka at the minute is just clearly showing that he just hasn't got that... hasn't got it in him to get forward, which is just a shame. But that's just the unfortunate thing that we've got on that right hand side at the minute. We've got an unbelievable defensive fullback who can't get forward. Who is scared. You can almost see it in his play. Scared to get forward. The amount of opportunities we get to play a ball in from the right hand side. He's just so conscious about what's behind him and having to run back that he's just scared of getting forward. But yeah, so I think that'll be pretty much what it is. I think with Shaw again, as I said before, Shaw with suspension on Saturday. I think he will be playing tomorrow and not Tellez, because I just cannot see him not playing him, and then basically Shaw will be out for about 2 weeks with no football. So that I can't see that happen. I think Shaw will definitely play, and similarly to McTominay as well. McTominay's out with suspension, I believe, as well. So he'll be starting. I've stuck Van der Beek in there. Hopefully, that's more hopeful than expectation. I can't see it. I really do hope that he gives him a chance. It's a big game, but give the lad a chance. Maybe he feels like he's a little too similar to Bruno, and it's going to be a little bit counterintuitive playing Van der Beek there. But I think he's, I think it's a good option to stick him there. But he could go Matic, but I hope he plays with Van der Beek, with a view of almost turning this into an attacking, turning this into sort of more this, or even Greenwood there and playing more like this, and McTominay sort of more in behind. Van der Beek's kind of got that, so it's more of like a diamond, 4-1-1-3-1, or we could call it 4-2-3-1 really. With a view of Van der Beek sort of pushing up a little bit more. That could be something that he goes with. I don't think he will. I think it'll be more, I think it'll be more sat back. Greenwood supporting Ronaldo or Rashford. It could be Rashford. It could play Cavani. I think it clearly didn't work with Cavani the other day, and I think he will play Greenwood there with Ronaldo. I think Bruno's got to start. I think obviously Bruno missed out. Came on against Wolves, was clearly the started making some sort of difference, but it was too late in the game, I felt, when he did come on to sort of impact and do anything. Sancho could miss out. I've stuck Sancho there on the right. I think he needs to be playing the right more often. He's not. He played him on the left at Wolves, then he's played over on the right, then he was back over on the left. It's just not working. He needs consistency. And it's just not working with him just chopping and changing where he's been played. So he needs some consistency. He could play with Rashford. I personally feel like Rashford his form doesn't deserve him a start. It doesn't deserve a start at this moment in time. I'm not criticising him. There's been a lot on Twitter recently where I've seen a lot of people getting on at him, and there's a lot of people trying to defend him. He's clearly off form. He's acknowledged that himself. I think he put a tweet on himself about the fact that he's disappointed in his own performances. He's disappointed in the team's overall performance, and he's clearly not performing that well. Neither is Sancho. There's a lot of them that aren't. But we're just going to hope that gradually things start clicking into place and we get some consistency with it. And it's basically, as Rangnick was saying, it's the transition from this element to this element. Or you've got to look at it in 3 zones. So this is zone 1, 2 being the middle of the park, and 3 being the opposition's defensive element. And we're not transitioning from one to the other very well. So teams are just dropping back on us, low block, winning the ball and just countering, and it's working very effectively against United at the minute because you've got players like Maguire out of fullbacks are out of position because they're too high up the pitch. Holes in between McTominay and not Van der Beek, but the 2 defensive midfielders is what I would say. A front 4 or even sometimes 5 that are too further afield. Just a disjointed formation and structure, and that's what obviously we need to get used to, understanding when to go, when to not go, and how we transition from one to the other, and having a clear game plan with that. But I don't think it's personnel as such. It just seems that we've got a mixture of styles within the team as well, which is not helping. You'd say Van der Beek is more used to in and around, playing clever little interchangeable passes. It's quite, if anything, I would say it would work quite well with Sancho. Them two would like that style of play. Whereas Bruno is a little bit more direct. He's more playing longer balls, sort of in behind to say Greenwood would be on the shoulder and playing those types of channely sort of long balls or crossfield balls. And that's why that doesn't work. I mean, to be quite honest, could you play Bruno and Van der Beek sort of not sitting as such, but in the centre, with Van der Beek sort of floating, going, and Bruno sitting and playing those sort of balls in? That could that work? What's clearly not working at the minute is Ronaldo. Not because of Ronaldo. I think it's just not working because we're not playing to Ronaldo's strengths. We don't get wide enough, quick enough. Again, that's where those crossfield balls would, that ball that Scholes used to play, that Carrick used to play, out there to the right hand side quickly when teams are pressing on you, when teams are high, and you play that ball in behind, and then you have your winger here, and next minute he's got a 1-on-1 or he's got a blank space to play that ball into that box for an opportunity for obviously Ronaldo in this regard. But we're not getting it there quick enough. What we're doing is we're winning the ball in these positions here or here, and we're playing it back across the back line, which is just allowing the opposition to reset, restructure, and drop back. So you can't play those crossfield balls then when you're in that position because the opposition have dropped deep and they're set up and they just push you wide, which means you're having to drop back and recycle the ball backwards to try it the other way, and then try it the other way, and then try it the other way until you play a longer ball, which just gets mopped up, or you get caught out of possession in the midfield. So again, it's transitioning from winning the ball here and getting it over here. We either play it direct or we don't. We which I think we're poor at. What we're going to say is we play a possession game. It doesn't suit us. We haven't got players who are comfortable on the ball for long periods of time. We're not a Man City. We haven't got 5 Bernardo Silvas. We're not comfortable on the ball. Bruno is good on the ball for 5 seconds. He wants to give it. Van der Beek, the same to a degree. McTominay, even less so. Sancho's fairly competent. but I won't say in long spells of the ball. You're not going to see him sort of just being comfortable, getting the ball every couple of seconds and wanting the ball. He wants to get the ball, do a job, cross a ball in, shoot, pass, whatever he wants to do. He wants a couple of seconds and give it, make a decision, give some end product. Ronaldo the same, Greenwood the same. They're not possessive type footballers. If you had De Bruyne, Bernardo, Rodri, Gundogan, all players comfortable on the ball, happy to keep it ticking over until it's ready to go. And that's where we need to get familiar. Either we get familiar with that, or we do what Liverpool do, which United used to do, and that's go direct quickly. Except that we're that kind of team that, balls might not come off, but as soon as we win the ball here, in these sort of positions, it's ball quickly to players who can play passes, and we're playing it quickly, and we're playing it into the box for goals. And that's the way that we play. And if that's not nice to see, well, that's unfortunate, but it'll maybe win us games. And we'll have to just see. But that's kind of similar. Obviously, formation-wise, we know what formation he's playing. It's 4-2-2-2-2, whatever it is. Personally, I'd love to see more of more something like this, where we're using more width, with an opportunity of sticking. We go something more like this, really. First, I think it'd be better with the opportunity of then Van der Beek sort of joining up in this position, which would allow Bruno to play as a second striker with Ronaldo. Gives Bruno some cover, knowing that Van der Beek's mopping that up. It also gives Van der Beek the cover that McTominay's there. So and then as we come back, if we don't win the ball in the first few seconds, then we've got that comfort that we drop back into these positions where they go two at the back, and we drop back like this. But this still allows for overlapping fullbacks. It still gives us width, but it gives we can, when we're out of position, we can close it down. We can be a bit more compact. When we win the ball, we can pull wide, and we can support. So personally, I think that'd be better if we worked with that kind of formation, but we'll have to see. So as I say, big game on big game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it, really. I mean, a glutton for punishment, really, in the sense that you come off a bad game, and you just want more. That's football for you, isn't it? I suppose that's being a fan. That's being a committed fan. You just want more of it. You want an opportunity to forget and bounce back. I think that's what we need to do. I just want some level of consistency. We want to come on to these streams, start talking about how good we are, start talking about people's goals, start talking about young players coming through, new signings we're getting, the happy camp. The other day I talked a little bit about the unhappy camp. 17 players apparently wanting to, falling out of each other. Read a lot about Maguire recently, sort of covering that a little bit about. He's unhappy. He wants to be there. He wants to be a captain. He wants to do well for the club. He came to the club to win trophies. He's come to, do well. He's got his role models were Rio, Vidic, Rooney, Giggs, Scholes. The players that we all look up to as United fans, and he wants to be one of those. And I think deep down, he's a young lad. He's a big personality. I think whether he realises that or not, I'm sure he is. But he needs to give it on the pitch. And I think it's difficult when you're underperforming. But he needs to be better. And I think fans would respect him a hell of a lot more instantly for just coming out and being more vocal, more animated, more passionate. I think he's a little bit robotic. And I think he probably accepts that as the case. But I do feel like he's got a future. I just, obviously United are just, at the moment, we're playing to cover everything where we're weak. And when you're playing that way, when you're setting up a team because you're setting it up to be because you've got weaknesses, it's never going to be a good team. you're going to get beat and you're going to get exposed. You know, if you're playing to your strengths, you're playing ultimately to your strengths. You know, you've got a great front two, a front three, a front four, depending on your midfielders joining that attack. And your defence can cope with what's coming back at them, but they can support that midfield and attack. Then you're playing everything to your strengths. And that's how, obviously, Chelsea have set up. That's how, that's how Liverpool have played. That's how Man City play, and United are way off that. You know, we're playing to patch up the weaknesses that we've got. You know, patch up the shaky defence. Because we're sticking 2 defensive midfielders in there, thinking that we need 2 defensive midfielders. We don't need 2 defensive midfielders. We need just one. We just need just one, really. But because we've got weaknesses in our back four, we need 2. It's not great. So we're constantly having to patch up weaknesses where there's holes, and that's why we're never able to transition from that defence to that attack, and that's ultimately a bit of a concern for us, to be quite honest. But an opportunity to bounce back tomorrow. New game, new competition, strong team, and I think when United always seem to be hitting a bit of a bottom of a barrel, they seem to bounce back and perform. So let's hope we do that again. We need it. I think players like Bruno need to get a good performance in. Greenwood could do one. Sancho could do with one. If Rashford comes on, he could do with one as well. They all could, to be quite honest, and Maguire himself. But obviously, Maguire's probably going to be missing out from his injury again. But we'll see. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Leave it there. I'm probably going to do a bit of a watch along tomorrow. So if you're about, I'll bob something on Twitter. But if you're about, then I'll do a watch along tomorrow. So if you catch me on that, then drop a view, come along, drop a like, subscribe if you can, share and comment. Please comment. I'm here. Can type it, can write back. And reply. So if you're fancy watching along with me, then come on tomorrow, and we'll watch it together. Right. Thanks if you've been watching, guys. There are a few viewers today, so I appreciate that. Again, like I just said, mumbled it really a little bit, but if subscribe if you can, and comment and like it as well. Hit a like button if you can, because I take a lot of effort doing this, and it would help me out a little bit, just knowing that there's people out there liking what I'm doing, or taking a little bit of time out of the day just to drop a bit of good feedback my way. So appreciate that. As I say, catch you in the next one. Catch you tomorrow, guys. Take it easy. See you soon.